Welcome to the Rad Conversations Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Rad Conversations. This week we want to welcome author Ildiko Olah to the show. And could you tell us, what is the name of your book?
The Power of the Awakened Human. I will even show you.
Love it. Tell everybody what YouTube channel you have.
Very easy. My name, Ildiko Olah. And I talk about basically what I wrote in my book, vibration and frequency, who we are, what we are, why we are here, how to raise your vibration and keep it high, that sort of thing. How do you know who you were in the past?
Thanks for coming on the show. Let's dive right into it. Do you believe in the idea of the multiverse?
There are multiple versions of me because we live in a multiverse, all these variations of life. So there is many parts of me, or many me's everywhere. But there is also what we call the past life, because we don't come here just for this one life. So we have a bunch of lives in different timelines on planet Earth, on planet whatever else. We have human body, we have non-human body. For example, think about Bashar. Bashar, you probably watched him.
Yep.
And he said that he's channeling another himself, like this entity, an Ssani entity, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, they are both lives of the same, what we call a soul, the same entity. So those are two lives. Just one lives on Earth, the other lives on another planet. But we are connected, and that is why he is capable of channeling that person, because they belong to the same soul. So they are basically the same energy.
Do you feel like everything's happening all at once?
Yes.
So like the dinosaurs are walking the planet
They
right now?
are walking the Earth right now, yeah. And the world wars are happening right now. Everything is happening right now, but it's on a different frequency, different levels of frequency. And that is why, for example, when I had those visions, and I found myself in the past, for example, it's because my past in the other lives and this life happening the same time. There is a connection between the two, like the strands of energy. So we just have to be open to it. See, our consciousness is like a TV antenna. And you can tune it to different frequencies, right? To receive different channels. And when we are awake, we have this channel. And then we sleep, for example, or we are in an altered state of consciousness, like meditating, then we are opening ourselves up to different channels. So I had dreams in which very, very vivid dreams, which I know is a past life dream. So those are me in another life, because it's so vivid, and because we are connected, you see. Like in my dream, I would look into a mirror and I would see myself in the mirror, and that's not this face. It's a completely different face.
Can we hear about some of these dreams you had?
Yeah, it's like these mirror dreams, for example. It shows you exactly that you are living in other realities, in other lives. Because before I went to bed, I said to myself, I set the intent that I'm going to fall asleep and I'm going to find a mirror in my dream, and I'm going to see myself in the dream. And when I wake up, I'm going to remember it. So it happened a couple of times that I would look into the mirror in my dream and I would see a different face, but I know that it's me. So I saw one was these were all women that I saw. One was an older lady at the doctor's office. One was an Asian lady in a club. So different lives, different kind of lives from different countries.
So you had some success. You set your intentions before you went to bed, and you're like, I want to experience this. And then it did happen every time you set your intentions?
No, not every time. But when you do it enough times, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter that it's not every time. But I had it like 3 or 4 times. I see my faces in the mirror, and that's a proof. How much more proof do you need?
Yeah, no.
And I know, it's like you see a different face in the mirror, but you know that it's you. It is so amazing. It's unbelievable. And that was a human, for example. Or if we are talking about dreams, like we have existences, not just as a human being, but for example, the cetaceans, like dolphins, whales, and there's a connection. So I had a dream one time where I was swimming in the ocean, because it looked like the ocean. And I was hopping in and out of the water. And then I came up, and there was this, it's like a giant net in front of me, so I couldn't go any further. And there was a city behind. But I was a free dolphin, and I was hopping around. In another one, I felt like I would think it's an orca because I had a much bigger body. And there was an entertainment center, and there were like channels filled with water, with lights on the side. And I was swimming, and I saw somebody pouring buckets of fish into the water for me to eat.
Oh, and you wrote this to me earlier, and that of all the stuff you wrote to me, and it's all fascinating, but the orca and the entertainment thing intrigued me the most because for 2 years I worked at SeaWorld. Mm-hmm. So do you feel like you were at SeaWorld when this was happening? I know there's...
I don't know where I was, but it was an indoor place, and I was in a channel. It was in a building. And I didn't see much of it, honestly, because I was underwater, so I wouldn't know. All I knew was that I was in the water and I was being fed because all the fish was being dumped into the water in front of me. And I felt my body. I felt that I was big, but not as big as a whale, obviously. But I seemed smaller than a dolphin. So I just think it was an orca.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. But that's just fascinating.
It's fascinating. And I know, I recognize past life dreams now because we are so sharp. You know, when you dream, sometimes you have funny stuff happening, and some of them are vague. But there are dreams where they are incredibly sharp, very sharp, no funny stuff. And you know when you wake up that this was a past life dream. So you know when you are having those experiences.
And we're going to deep dive into your dreams a little more because it's fascinating. But what do you think is happening while we dream?
What happens is that, as I said, our consciousness is like a antenna. And while we sleep, our body remains here in the bed, but our consciousness shifts into other frequencies where our other lives are playing.
So you feel every dream we're having is actually a different reality?
Not every dream. I believe dreams serve different purposes, but one of the purposes is that to shift into you're experiencing being someone else. So you are in your other life. That's what I believe, because it's so sharp and it's so clear, and it's an inner knowing. It's something that I can never prove, but it's an inner knowing. I know that was me, and that was my life. And especially when you go back to the same place twice or several times. I heard people say, hey, I know this place in my dream because I've been there several times. So explain that.
Yeah, I'm with you because, like, we recently, my wife and I moved to the house we're in now, and it's a 1940s Craftsman. And in a dream about a year ago, and I don't dream a whole lot. I don't remember what I have. But,
you dream, you just don't remember.
Yeah, which bums me out. And it, just on a side note, it's fascinating when you remember your dream and you're like, oh, I got to remember. And then it just slowly slips away. It's amazing that you're designed to forget your dreams.
That's why you have to be smart and do what I did. I had a diary next to my bed. And the moment I woke up in the morning, no dilly-dally and thinking and waking up slowly. No, right away, you grab your diary and you write down what you saw because the more minutes pass, the more it becomes vague, more vague, and at the end you lose it. And it happened, even recently it happened to me that I found myself back on a street where I was in another dream before, and I knew the name of the street. And even in my dream, like I was not awake yet, but I said I had to remember. I was saying the name of the street where I was, so I can look it up. I was kind of like a lucid dreaming, probably and I woke up and I didn't write it right away and I forgot. And I thought, oh my God, so stupid, because I would have looked it up on the map where this street or city is.
That would have been fascinating. Yeah,
that would have been an ultimate proof, but I lost it, and it happened several times. But sometimes, like, I would remember a name from a dream, and then I look it up. And most of the time, it doesn't go anywhere. But if you can hold on to something in your dreams, maybe that can help you also. But you have to tell yourself, you have to set the intent at night that I wish to remember my dream when I wake up. Alternate realities. I had that too. That I remembered, like in my dream, I lived the same place where I lived when I was awake. but instead of buses, there were these gondola kind of things. You can see some of those in Germany. And I saw how it arrived, and then people were in it, and then it went on above the road. So that, to me, it sounded like an alternate reality, the versions of the reality that I'm living right now.
So when you have these visions or these dreams, how long do they last for you?
Dreams, I can't tell how long they last because they are dreams. So I could be dreaming for hours. And when we dream, like sometimes I would record like 8, 9, 10 dreams a night. You know, we shift to a lot of channels at night. The visions are short, about 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30, if I was lucky. So they are short, but you are there. Like when I was, for example, I would find myself on a street. I'm on a street and I'm looking around, and there are these pastel colored cars driving by, you know, like a Citroën French, like Western Europe in the 60s. You know, those yellow and the light green, light yellow kind of colors that we no longer use for cars. And I knew that this was back in somewhere in the 60s, Western Europe. And I'm standing there and I look around and I see one of the cars coming in, and I'm next to a parking lot, and the car comes in and it goes into a parking lot, and then it just dissolves. And it was all like 20 seconds.
And you can hear, you can smell, you can, you know, if you're
eating. No, it was all sight. So it was like watching a video, basically. But I was in it. I was there, but I heard no sound. I don't recall any sound. Or when I was walking in the jungle, in another vision, I just closed my eyes, and a few seconds later, I'm there. And I'm walking in the jungle, and there is the jungle all green on one side, and there is this rock wall on the other side. And the interesting thing is that there were carvings in the rock wall. You know, the ones like you see in Mexico, those kind of drawings, but these looked brand new. And once the vision was over, I told myself, I'm so stupid. I should have looked down to see what I was wearing. If I was a tourist there in present time, which I don't believe, or it was back in those times when those things were freshly carved.
Do you have any desire to go down there and try to find this?
Not really, but I've been in Mexico. And I saw these carved things, but these are old. So this is different. But no, I don't. I know that I've been there. Another me was there and saw it, because that's what the vision was. But no, I don't have a desire.
See, I've been to many psychics in the past, and the last one I went to, she was at the end. She was telling me about my past lives, and she's like, "You and I have worked together on a pyramid." And I am fascinated by pyramids, and I know a lot of people are, but I have never been to a pyramid. But in my head, I just feel like the first one I go to, hopefully, will be the one that I help build, and I'll get some kind of deja vu out of it.
That's interesting you say that, because I've always been drawn to Egypt. And I write about this in my book. If you want to know what kind of past lives you have lived, check what it is that you are drawn to, what kind of historical era you are drawn to. And for me, it was always the ancient civilization, ancient Mexico, ancient Egypt, the Native American tribes. And you see, I had proof that, yes, I was indeed there. So, yeah, I would love to go to Egypt. It's on my bucket list. I've been planning forever. I just wish it wasn't so bloody expensive to go there.
Yep.
But and I was also thinking, wouldn't it be cool if let's say I go into the pyramid and it sparks some memory? I mean, that would be the coolest thing ever.
And there's that famous story, and I forget the lady's name, but when she was a child, she fell down the steps. She was living
in Seti, wasn't it?
That sounds about right. And as a child, she fell down the steps, and then she didn't die.
I have the book. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then she went to the pyramid.
Seti. Yes.
And was able to tell people before, she went to this pyramid. And she's like, "Hey, there's a garden over here, and there's a back entrance over here." And this
that's Seti. Yeah.
And it had not been discovered yet, and it was all true. It just. How do you feel? How were the pyramids built?
I believe, based on what I've read from channelers and people whose information I trust, I believe back then we had knowledge that we have lost. Knowledge like how to make those big boulders weigh a lot less. So we could work with gravity at the time, I believe. We knew how to make them, like you could push them probably with your finger. You can make them so light. So you disconnect the gravity, and that's how they were put there. But that's just my opinion. It sounds reasonable to me based on what I learned and what I know.
Yeah, no, I've been fascinated by the pyramids, and everything I've heard, the thing that makes the most sense and it makes the least sense at the same time is sound and vibration. That they were able to levitate the rocks and boulders and place them in, and without, and even the psychic I was talking to, she said we built pyramids together. She said, and I asked her, I'm like, how were the pyramids built? And she's like, you're not going to believe me. I'm like, I'll believe you. She's like, we got around in a circle and we raised it up with our thoughts and we placed it in. And I'm like, that makes
a sound, for example, create a sound that negates the effect of gravitation. I believe that.
And yeah, and in your past lives that you can, you have any idea how old the pyramids are? Because I think, once again, I think we have amnesia about.
I don't know. I never dealt with that. As far as I hear it, probably around 12, 13,000 years old. I don't know, older than they think. That's what I hear, but that's just second-hand information. I never looked into this, and I don't know how to. But it's a lot older than people think, that's for sure. Stuff that we have all forgotten, but I believe back in those times, humanity was in the higher frequencies. We were not 3D in those times, or at least I don't know if we were with this knowledge. I believe we were higher frequency when that happened, and then we just went lower and lower.
Do you feel like the civilization's been kind of wiped out on Earth?
Yes, I believe so several times. Cryon, I don't know if you heard about him, he is also a channeled entity. He said that everything's been wiped out 3 or 4 times before, and then we restarted because there was always some kind of issue, and then restarted. So hopefully we're not gonna be wiped out again. But yeah.
And we're supposed to be on the upswing, correct, of consciousness?
Yes, we are on the upswing. Yes, we are definitely rising. That's why you have so many light workers here. That's why you see so many YouTube channels and books about all this stuff. So more and more people are triggered to awaken, and more people are actually actively working on raising their vibration and doing their part. So it's an amazing thing to see how people move away from, for example, the chemical-based medicine to frequency-based medicine and energy, Reiki and all the other healing methods. So humanity is definitely opening up. We are opening up and we are rising in frequency. It's a beautiful thing to see, but it's sometimes it's easy to lose sight of when you watch the news. That's why it's best if you just forget about it. That's a different game. That's like a game in a game. So I just stay away from it. I keep myself out of it, and I just mind my own business. I mind my own environment, my own reality, because I know that the way I create my reality affects other people, how they create their reality. And I just set an example. This is the way you can live if you work on your vibration, if you understand who you are. And what incredible abilities you have that you have forgotten.
Do you believe that we used to have telekinesis powers?
Oh yeah, and telepathy, and even telepathy today we experience it. I experience it with my husband a lot because because we are in such a close relationship, and you can tell like a lot of couples experience telepathy. Like you are thinking of somebody and the phone rings and it's that person. So yeah, we used to have, I believe, while we were in the higher frequencies, we used to have abilities that we have forgotten.
Yeah, and there's so many YouTube videos out now about people moving objects with their mind, or telepathy tapes where the autistic children are communicating on this energetic hill and stuff like that. But it's just fantastic with YouTube being out there. that all this information is not just one-on-one conversation with your neighbor anymore. You can get out to the masses, and then people can find you and find, like-minded people and stuff. Do you think there's some suppression out there? Like there's people in power that are keeping information that they have away from us that would awaken us even quicker?
I do believe so, but I tend not to worry about it because I believe we can overcome that. So if we raise our consciousness, if we raise our vibration, then it's not a problem. It's not a problem because they will eventually fall out of our range.
Right. And in your visions, have you ever been in ET?
No. I wish I did. I wish I had, but no, that never happened. I was always either human or a cetacean. Or one day I was a fish. I was under the ocean. Again, I spent my entire childhood being fascinated with the ocean. So now I know that is why, because I did have lives. Like I was a fish, I don't know what kind, but we were hiding from a predator. And I remember so clearly the place where we were hiding and the predators were going around and we were just huddling there with a bunch of other fish and waiting for the predator to pass.
You mentioned earlier that you were a dolphin in a previous life. Do you feel like dolphins have magical powers?
I don't believe they have magical. There's not magic, They are. I believe they are
more connected than other animals.
Yes, they are more connected. Like the cetaceans, they are not animals. I believe they are a higher consciousness, and they are serving some purpose here in our oceans. Whatever their purpose is, I'm not an expert in it, but I hear they are holding energy for humanity. But they are more connected. Yes, they are more connected to the higher frequencies, the higher dimensions than we are.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing more and more about. Like births in water with dolphins around, they're supposed to be giving better vibes out to the babies when they enter this world and stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know if the baby needs better vibe, because don't forget, the baby spent 9 months in the womb, and the baby was still connected. The baby is not 3D. The body is 3D, but the baby is fully connected to the higher frequencies, the higher dimensions. And it doesn't go away right away. That's why you have little children who remember their past lives. The most shocking when they start talking about it. My own son, my younger son, he was calling me wife for a while when he was little, and he used to freak us out. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, you are my wife." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" That was before I awakened, and I realized that, yeah, he's remembering a past life in which he was a grown man, I was his wife.
Yeah, and that was one of my questions too. Do you feel like your husband and you and your kids, and it sounds like you do, we're all together? Is this your soul family, and you guys kind of keep doing this?
Yeah, they say, I hear that we reincarnate in groups. So people who have been in a group existence, like family, friends, whatnot, they usually in the next life, they are doing that again, but in different configurations. For example, someone who was your friend might be your enemy in this one. Someone who was your wife now is your daughter, or, there's all kinds of different configurations. And yes, I do believe.
And do you feel like, say, you're in a car wreck, somebody hits you, before you came down here, you made a contract with that person's soul? Like, hey, I need to go through the experience of getting in a car wreck?
Yes, I believe there are contracts. I write about it in my book as well. There are life plans, contracts that we set for ourselves before we come in. We basically write ourselves a life story. And there's a general outline, and there are different goalposts, different important events that are going to be in there. But whatever's in between and how you get there, or whether you get there at all, that depends on the choices you make. That's where free will comes in. So just because you set a goalpost, it's not 100% that you are going to do it. You can change your mind. Even as a baby, for example, you might become a fetus, but you might say, you know what, I don't want to be born. I changed my mind. And then that pregnancy is lost, either miscarriage or abortion, doesn't matter, but that person is not going to be born. So if a higher dimension entity says, okay, I just wanted to experience being a fetus, in a mom's belly, but I don't want to experience a human life, then it will just end the story, and then the child will be lost, no matter what we do.
So do you feel like when you're off your life path, let's say you make it, you have A to B to C, and you make all these decisions, and then, like, let's say your life path, you're supposed to be a police officer, whatever. You just decide to be a teacher instead, and you don't do what you agreed to when you first came down here. Do you feel like your life will be tougher? Or
no, I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so. But if you really wanted to be a policeman, for example, then in the next life you are going to be a policeman. So there are so many ways to do it. So you don't have to be so rigid in this one life. If this doesn't happen, there are important things you might want to experience. And if it's important enough, then even if your ego takes you in a different direction, somehow you will find yourself back in guided back in that other situation.
I've had a number of jobs, just like everybody else during my life, but I've always fantasized about working at a tire shop. And I'm just like, man, did I used to work at a tire shop or something in my past life? Like, why is...
Chances are, yeah.
Yeah, of all the jobs out there.
Yeah, because it's not a kind of thing like you are dreaming about being a movie star.
Right.
It's like being in a tire shop. It's a pretty normal everyday. Like why would anybody want to work in a tire shop? Like, there's nothing special about it. And nothing against the people who work in a tire shop. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just not something that people really aspire to. So if you do feel like you aspire to it, then yeah, I always wanted to work in a bookstore or a library, but that's because I was very interested in books. But yeah, chances are that yes, you probably have an existence as a person who works in a tire shop. Yes, so you just have to look at where your heart pulls you, or sometimes you travel in the world and you find yourself in a place where suddenly you feel, oh my God, this is so familiar. New York City. First time I was there, I said, oh my God, this is so familiar. So I know that there is another me living there with another face and body. Or Mexico, I know that I've been there because I love it there. There is this sense of being at home.
So in New York City, did you know your way around, or you just felt familiar?
I didn't know my way around. I just felt it was a feeling. It's a sensation. It's not something I can pinpoint. But I felt that I know this place. So it's that kind of a thing. Or random things, sometimes. I went to a museum, an aviation museum, and I was looking at the planes. And just walking around, looking at everything, and I stopped in front of this. My son said it was a DC-3. And I look at it, and I almost started crying. I got so emotional. It was choking me, like was a swallowing, because I didn't want to cry there. I said, oh my God, what happened? Why am I suddenly overcome with these emotions? And now I know it's because the sight of that airplane triggered a memory of a feeling. So I must have had something to do with that airplane in some other life.
And what was the date of the airplane? Was it a warplane, or was it just a...
No, it was a DC-3. I don't know. It's not. I don't believe it's
just a commercial.
It's a plane. Like, I don't really know much about it. Gotcha. All I know is that I looked at it and I got all emotional.
Wow.
Or it's like I have family members who have been so interested in World War II. They have all the books. They watched all the documentaries on TV. So I know that they had to be a part of that because they are so into it. So there's a memory. You might not remember it with your mind, but you remember it with your heart. You have been there. Phobias, excellent indication of past life. You're afraid of the water. Why are you afraid of water? Because chances are you had some unfortunate event happen to you that had to do with water. You went down with the Titanic, or you just drowned in water. Fire, people are afraid. Why are they afraid of fire? Because they burned. Feeling of being afraid of heights. They must have fallen in the past, like tight spaces, claustrophobia. Why does a person just have claustrophobia? Because it is a memory from another life that you died, or you were locked in there, or whatever happened. But it left such a strong imprint in your consciousness that you take it into the next life. You take the memory of it or the feel of it, because you don't have a memory. You don't remember that you burned before, but you have this instinctual fear of the fire that caused you all that pain and the death in a previous life.
Yeah, I'm not scared of heights, but I'm scared of falling. So if I'm in a plane, I have no problem looking out. But if I'm on a ladder, my leg will just start shaking, and I'm like, I'm only 10 feet off the ground or whatever. It wouldn't be that bad if I fell.
Yeah,
but,
could be connected.
No,
I don't know, but it could be. Like, this is one of the indications. So if a person observes himself or herself, what kind of reaction I have to this, how do I feel about that? Or a person, you can meet a person on the street for the first time and you feel like you've known each other forever. And the reason for that is because you have known each other before. You have known this person from another life, and you don't know the person's face, but you feel the person's energy. So there's a subconscious memory of
Have you had that
knowing
experience?
that person. No. With people, no. But with places, yes. I definitely had experience like that.
I had a distant friend who moved around quite a bit and married and loving his life, but he walked into a random store one time, and first time in there, and the person working behind the counter, he just instantly was drawn to this person, and they just and he says they both felt like they'd known each other forever. In a past life.
There's your proof.
Yeah. I mean,
So you cannot prove it scientifically, but you don't need to. When something like that happens, you have your proof. It's like I was afraid of bears. Most of my life, I was afraid of bears. I love hiking, and we went to so many places in the US and here in Canada. There's always bears everywhere. And I love hiking, but always there was this feeling, oh my God, I'm afraid of bears. And I never could explain why I was afraid of bears. And then I went to this QHHT session with the lady, and I saw a bear jumping at me. So I had a vision of a bear jumping at me. So I know that I had some kind of misfortune in a past life that had to do with a bear.
The lady you met with her name wasn't Susan, was it?
No. Okay. No, it was someone here in the city.
Oh, okay. Because I looked into doing those past life regression stuff. It was like $1,600, and it was like my wife is not going to give me the okay on that.
You looked in the wrong place. I don't know if you know Alba Wyman. She has a YouTube channel. She's doing QHHT. QHHT is a quantum hypnosis healing technique, and she does a lot. She has a YouTube channel full of these videos, and they are amazing. You should look at it. I don't know how much she's charging, but I'm pretty sure it's no more than $600 or something. Like, I got it a lot cheaper here because this lady was just starting out.
How many times did you go?
You have to look around.
How many times did you go and have a session?
I went twice. Once I went 10 years ago, and I couldn't be put under for some reason. The lady couldn't hypnotize me. Now, the second time, it was very similar. For some reason, I cannot really be put under. But I could get to the point where I actually saw some images.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I saw. But it didn't come easy. So for some reason, there's something inside me. You probably heard from others that for some reason they can't be hypnotized.
Right.
So there is something in our consciousness, I don't know, that blocks the hypnosis.
Have you heard the thing about if you have a birthmark that possibly in the past life you had trauma to that area and stuff?
Yes, I heard that one.
Yeah, I have this big birthmark on the side, and I just feel like it was a bear claw or something to,
could be. I believe that. I have no proof. That is something that I just heard, and to me it would make sense. So I believe it. It's possible, yes.
It's just amazing, and we're about to get out of here, but it's just amazing how mystical and magical life is. There's so much going on around us that I think we all been blind to, or just dismiss when a glitch in the matrix happened. You're like, oh, whatever. That I imagined that happening, or whatever, and we just blocked it out. And then, but when your eyes are open, you see a lot more stuff, and and I just love having these conversations. I got to ask you, and this is way off topic, is Bigfoot real?
Oh, I'm sure it is. You should watch Alba Wyman because she's connected to one of those. Yes. Why wouldn't they be? The way I read it, they are remnants from the time of Atlantis. They are the result of human gorilla fusion. So genetic engineering. Because they were supposed to be doing heavy duty labor, physical labor. So that's how they were created. Then slowly they are dying out, not a lot left. And it's a kind of a miserable existence. But yeah, they are still around, and there are people who connect to them. Yes, Alba Weinman is one of them.
Well, this has been one of my most enjoyable conversations on this podcast. So thank you so much for joining us today.
So thank you very much for having me. It was great talking to you.
Thanks for watching the show today, folks. And if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and share. And like always, stay rad.